Well, for the first time in 26 years, the family of Kristin Smart is waking up knowing their daughter's killer has been convicted of the crime. There was one conviction and one acquittal in the trial for the 1996 murder of Cal Poly student Kristin Smart. A jury found Paul Flores guilty of killing the college freshman who was last seen with him. In a separate trial, his father, Ruben Flores, was acquitted of helping him bury the body. The verdicts were read in the same courtroom, moments apart. Now the Smart family is sharing what that verdict meant to them.
Without Kristin, there is no joy or happiness in this verdict. With today's split verdicts, we learned that our quest for justice for Kristin will continue.
And despite countless searches and warrants, Kristin's body is still missing. The San Luis Obispo sheriff is pledging that investigators will not give up. And following the verdict, we are diving deeper into the Kristin Smart case. And this morning, San Luis Obispo County District Attorney Dan Dow is joining us now for his reaction on the verdict. Dan, it's good to see you.
Thank you, Amanda. Good to be with you.
So after all of this time, it's been 26 years. There's so much evidence presented in the last few months. What do you think brought the jury to that guilty verdict for Paul Flores? Was it a totality of the evidence or any key points that you think?
Thank you. I'm certain it was a totality of the evidence. When we built this case, our prosecutor, Chris Pouvrel, put brick after brick after brick on top of another, and pretty soon the jury was able to see how it all fit together, especially, probably most importantly, the Jane Does who were able to speak about what Paul had done to them. Kristin didn't get that chance. I'm sure that was very helpful to the jury.
And Dan, you've been in this position in San Luis Obispo County since about 2014, taking a huge role in Kristin's case. And we actually first interviewed together for her 19th year missing about 7 years ago, going over all the evidence and where her case was at that point. And I'm sure not many days went by when you were not thinking about this case and conversations you had with the Smart family. So what does this verdict mean to you personally?
It's extremely satisfying to finally have an answer to be able to give to the family. Her picture has been on my wall now for a number of years to ensure that she was at the front of my mind even before we were able to file this case. And we had staff working with the sheriff's office, an incredible, huge team. And we're just so elated to have finally the murderer of Kristin Smart held accountable.
And Dan, this was something I was thinking about when that verdict was read yesterday. We have seen this happen in other missing persons cases. Any chance your office would reach out to Paul Flores to see if he would lead them to Kristin's body in exchange for the judge to be informed of that as she considers sentencing recommendations?
Well, my message to Paul Flores is the same as it has been. Lead us to the body. Tell us where Kristin is today. And we'll talk about how that affects your sentence. But that is the most important thing now. Where is Kristin? Only Paul and his family know.
Yeah, I remember my conversations with Stan Smart years ago and just how it's been so long since they've been able to see their daughter, and they deserve to say their goodbyes. And Dan, before you go, you mentioned that you wanted to share a message for victims of sexual assault, especially after we learned so much in this case.
Yes, sexual violence is still happening all across this country, up and down California, and the hard work to end sexual violence continues. We want victims to know, survivors to know that if you've never told anyone about what happened to you, please come forward. There's a network of people that want to help you. You may not be ready to support prosecution today, but the team of people will come along and support you, and hopefully you'll be able to support prosecution and one day testify. But your testimony, your coming forward, could prevent other people from being brutally assaulted and victimized.
Dan Dow, San Luis Obispo County District Attorney, thank you so much for your time and for keeping hope alive to find Kristin.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right, well,